Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. Hot diggity dog. Why is that purple? I am speaking about the where it says Royal Sussex on the screen. I realize now that sounded totally weird, but it should be Royal Sussex Blue. That's better. I don't know why I have to reset this every day. Uh, Very strange. But it seems like every day I have to reset this for some reason. And there's some kind of lock. No, I guess there isn't. All right. No matter. I won't fuss about it. But anyway, thank you so much. Please make sure you hit the like button. Always share and subscribe. If you're not a subscriber, please do. And if you do not have a membership, please consider getting a membership. Start a membership for just $4.99 a month, which is about the price that you would pay for a cup of coffee once a month. $4.99. So, if you can, please do. That would be very, very helpful. Let's see who's here. Oh, the Ultimate TV channel. Thank you so much for being here first. Hello to Ingrid Soares and Kim Peaches and Veronica Quick, Stevie Ross, Church Nelly, Adrian Burrow, Tara Lovett, Joan Garcia. Who else is here? Jedi Lady, Val Rich, Deborah Anderson, Carol Lunn. Anyway, thank you all so much for being here. There we go. I still cannot get over that jacked up hair. I really can't. I don't think I've ever did the side by side of, you know, but I mean, yeah, that's a bit much. I mean, it's just totally jacked up. I mean, is there helium in the shampoo or what's going on? It's amazing and interesting how some days our hair is so thick and lush, and other days it's kind of flat and not so lush. I just don't think that it's wise for someone um, in the spotlight the way that she is to change her hair like that on a daily basis. Um, it's distracting. You know what I mean? It's distracting. And I'm only saying that because I'm comparing her to, like, say, a first lady of the United States or any wife of a head of state or high ranking government official. They don't usually have drastic, dramatic changes like that. I mean, yeah, you put your hair up or something like that for something formal, but I mean, let's face it, it's a wig. It's a huge wig. And you just don't see that outside of a witness protection program. I don't know that that's wise to do. Yeah, but it's none of my business what they do. I mean, you don't see Queen Elizabeth or Camilla or somebody like, of that rank. Even when Camilla was um, the Duchess of Cornwall, she didn't do that. It's just distracting. It's weird. It's very weird. Changes like that ought to be subtle and over long periods of time. but you don't go away one weekend and come back looking like you fell into a vat of peroxide. That is very strange. I'm afraid she needs an intervention. Um, oh, you know what? Hold on a second, you guys. I'm getting way too much light on the screen. Okay. I was getting a bit of glare from the sun. I think that's better now. Okay. But yeah, it was a bit much, jarring. The term jarring comes up. Also, I hope I have everyone listed here. I have altered the mod squad names a few times, but Church Nelly, Lydia Washington, Cookies and Cream, Adrian Burrows, Dominica Anastasia Isabella Christensen, Legs, Sherry Ware, Elaine Parker, VS Speaks Royally on Occasion, Hazel Jones, and Connie Balmer. So thank you all so much for helping to keep Royal Sussex a safe space. Every so often I go through and I see some of the people that have been removed because of the comments that they have made. One of the reasons why, and I don't know if I can really make the comparison, but I have to ask you guys because I don't really look at the chat of other Sussex friendly spaces, but I think we have far fewer trolls. And one of the reasons I believe is because I have a very strong filter for certain language and certain words that just will not make it into the comments. And I do think that that blocks a lot of the riffraff because, you know, when you want to like celebrate Sussex moments and such, you don't want to see all those nasty comments. So I do a lot of blocking myself and permanently blocking some of those people because it is a real buzzkill. It is a real buzzkill, and I don't like it. I don't remember who told me when I first started the channel. They said, get rid of those trolls. And I did. I just block them left, right, and center. And I don't think the channel suffered in the least bit. If anything, it helps. So I'd rather not have all that negativity floating around. So better for everyone involved. And it's better for the trolls because that way they can go someplace where that negativity is welcome. How well has this aged? Harry and Meghan lands in Jordan as they begin two-day visit to highlight plight of people forced out of their homes by war or genocide. And I mean, call it what it is, genocide. And then, of course, Harry and Meghan land in Jordan for a two-day trip to meet Gaza war refugees days after lazy, good-for-nothing, trifling Williams' diplomatic visit to the Middle East, as if those two countries are one and the same. William went to what? Saudi Arabia, right? And the Sussexes went to Jordan. I don't know how that fits at all. It just doesn't. There's no connection there whatsoever. Plus, Williams' visit was mired in a bunch of what do you call it? Well, he got yelled. Well, I wouldn't say it was heckling, but they did ask him about his uncle. So it was mired in the whole controversy about Uncle Andrew. And I think the Sussex's visit was picture perfect, just like it was in Colombia, just like it was in Nigeria, and so as it was in The Hague and any place else that they've gone to. It has always been perfect. And of course, Canada. Let me see. They did the countdown to Invictus, right? And then it was the Invictus games themselves, and it all went off without a hitch. I think that they have done extremely well, and I'm still waiting for the day when one of those um, hateful Royal Rota type of people are going to say with their full chest that the Sussex's quasi royal tour, not a royal tour, whatever they use the language to say, oh, it's not really a royal tour, but it is. However they describe it, I'm waiting for them to admit how well planned and how well executed each and every one of their visits have been. Even if you mention Jamaica when they went there for the movie premiere, perfection, perfection. Always. It always goes off without a hitch. First of all, they're welcome. They have been invited. They're not going on the request of the British government like the other two. Usually the British government asks them, oh, do you think you can go? And no, the Sussexes are invited. There's a whole community of people that are anxious to meet them, hoping that a bit of that stardust will help them promote their cause or help the plight of whoever is suffering. They're hoping that Sussex stardust is going to help just a bit. So, yes, it's a huge difference. It's like night and day. And of course, this was absolutely beautiful. I'm going to share it again. Their NAACP. Okay. Oh, let me do that. NAACP. Let me see. Which one do I want to do? I guess I'll do this one. The one that looks more theatrical.
5 years ago, we launched this award with the NAACP because we believed that the fight for civil rights didn't end at the doorstep of the digital world. It begins there. And since then, we've honoured 4 extraordinary women: Dr. Sophia Noble, Nabia Syed, Dr. Joy Bonwini, and Dr. Alondra Nelson.
We are incredibly proud of our partnership with NAACP and of what this award represents, that civil rights must evolve as fast as the technology that threatens them.
This year's recipient is someone whose work I find genuinely inspiring: a groundbreaking legal scholar, author, and president of the Cyber Civil Rights Initiative. Her book, Fearless Speech, asks a question that I think matters now more than ever. When powerful people and powerful platforms claim to champion free speech, whose freedom are they actually protecting? Dr. Franks makes the case, and I think she's right, that true free speech should serve democracy, not the interests of those who would dismantle it.
It is our honor to announce that the 2026 NAACP Archwell Digital Civil Rights Award goes to Dr. Marianne Franks, a fearless woman at the forefront of the modern civil rights movement. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Superb. Bravo. I love it. That was fantastical. Joan Garcia says, I love dignitaries, ignore King Charles and still invite Harry and Meghan. Yeah, they don't really have a use for the rest of that clan. Why do I keep saying clan? Family. They're not a clan, they're family. I don't know why it always comes out like that, but they don't really have a use for the rest of them. Charles is still able to put together a very, shall we say, non-consequential, well, no, I think it does bring controversy. When he went to Australia, they were holding people back from protesting. So, well, anyway, he knows how to play the cameras, right? He knows how to play on his strengths. However, it's just very rare that governments invite either of those households these days. They're just not so interested. I believe for Charles, it's the Camilla factor. There's nothing inspiring or interesting about Camilla. Uh, I think more people would have been glad for Queen Elizabeth to show up, the grandma of Europe. And there's just nothing inspiring about Camilla's presence anywhere. It's just not. You have to orchestrate a group to spend time with her. And for Charles, I mean, there's the obligation of him being the head of state, but otherwise, big fat nothing burger. Will and Kate, they have not been invited anywhere. Anywhere. They have not been invited. I want to say maybe they got an invite for Australia, but I believe it was a very polite invite. And if there is any reason that they don't go, I'm sure that they're going to pull a Kate is not doing well card. That would be the only reason. But they were damaged by the Caribbean tour. Their brand is forever, ever, 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 and ever damaged. Thank you, Joan Garcia. And I don't think that they're welcome most places. I had that other winner for the NAACP award, the one I think that won before this one. And I can't for the life of me figure out what happened to that video. But I really liked it because of the way Harry and Meghan surprised her. But I don't know what I did with it. I would love to share that one with you, but I seem to have misplaced it. And but it was a great video, and I wish I could share it with you. But I have so many, and on occasion I just forget the title of it or something, and then I can't find it ever again. That's the Diana Award. So that's not it. Let me try NAACP again. It's the Technology Award, right?
Every year we come across the most incredible
Is this it? No.
leaders in tech, and we face a difficult choice of picking just one winner for the NAACP R12 Foundation Digital Civil.
Oh, I think that is it. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Nope. Okay. I think this is it. Let's take a look.
Every year we come across the most incredible leaders in tech, and we face a difficult choice of picking just one winner for the NAACP R12 Foundation Digital Civil Rights Award. And this year's winner is Dr. Joy Bolamwini.
You won! Oh my gosh! Are you serious?
Dr. Joy is the founder of the Algorithmic Justice League.
And this is an organization leading the way to overcome racist and sexist biases in AI systems, especially when it shows up in policing, in education, and in healthcare.
When she was a grad student, Joy discovered that facial recognition couldn't detect her dark skin and only worked when she put on a white mask. Since this discovery, she has gone on to become one of the world's most inspiring, passionate, and impactful figures in AI today, at a time when her expertise are needed so badly.
She recently wrote, "The rising frontier for civil rights will require algorithmic justice," and we could not agree more. Dr. Joy is an expert and inspiration, and she's so deserving of this honor and many more.
All right, y'all got me good. Really good.
Don't you love her? Don't you love her? Y'all got me good. Don't you love her? Well, I don't know if you understood what was going on there. So I am going to pause just to make sure that we're all on board with what she realized is that the facial recognition would not recognize her. And this is so important that we realize the technology is being cultivated by young white men, young Asian men, mostly from India, and that there's not enough Black people involved in these technologies. There's not enough. And so the old saying, if you are not on the how do they say that? If you're not invited to the dinner, then you're probably on the menu. Or if you don't have a seat at the table, you're probably on the menu. That's exactly what's going on here. If you do not have a seat at that table, if you have not been invited, you are probably on the menu. And that is what is happening with technology.
Couldn't detect her dark skin and only worked when she put on a white mask.
Do you see that? It would not detect her dark skin. The facial recognition would not detect her dark skin. And she puts on this face mask, and all of a sudden, oh, hello, you. Now, you could argue, oh, well, what about the lighting? Maybe it's because of the lighting, or no, it wasn't that. The way these cameras work on the phone nowadays, you can actually use a smartphone to measure a space. And if you could do that, then that means that the light waves, I don't care how low the light, is bouncing off of the image and giving you a 3D image to read. So there's no excuse. I don't care how dark you are. There's no excuse that the phone is not able to identify you. And that's the problem. And this is not the first time. Some of you all are old enough to remember the Sears catalog problem. I'll tell you what it is. Sears catalog, they were selling furniture. And when they would photograph the furniture, it would look rather green. It would not really give you a good depiction of the texture and the tones of the furniture. Brown furniture, of course, wooden furniture. You couldn't read it. The camera couldn't pick it up. That's because when they developed the film, they did not develop the film with Black people in mind. It was only white European skin that was in mind when they created the film. It did not have to be that way. It didn't take a lot to change it. The only thing they really needed was intention. They didn't have that intention. And it was just another one of those situations where anyone of African descent with a certain skin tone did not seem to be welcomed, was not considered necessary. And so when they changed that, it wasn't so much because someone Black sounded the alarm. It was because Sears catalog and others were saying, how come the furniture looks weird? Why would someone wants to buy something that is not even the right proper shade? Why would we deliver something just to have it sent back because it's not the right color? So eventually they fixed it. And the same goes with television cameras. Oprah Winfrey had to hire someone that put a filter on the lens just to pick up her skin tone. Nowadays, it's not a problem. But in the old days, and we're talking Oprah, what, the 1980s? The 1980s, it was still an issue on television. So we've come a long way. But as you can see from this, we still have a long ways to go. So that young lady definitely deserved to win that award. And if you ask me, she needs to win some more awards for her work because it's an issue that was identified, and thank God she did something about it. So, there you go.
Really did.
Okay, and good for the Sussexes for doing this work, providing an award for people who identify these things. Did I not say the 80s? What did I say? Let me see. Oh, you missed Sears catalog. The S&H green, is it? Wait a minute. You said the it's B and H stamps. I thought it was S&H. S&H green stamps. Or is that something different? The B and H. B and H, isn't that Benson Hedges? Benson and Hedges cigarettes? Anyway, I thought it was S&H green stamps. You know, I got so lucky one day. One of the local grocery stores had some kind of I think was it Monopoly or something like that. And I was saving those stamps, right? And I had just enough stamps. Actually, I had more than enough to get this stainless steel platter. And one of the ladies in the shop that day or in the grocery store, she said, "Oh, you know, I have some stamps. You can have them." She said, "I'm not going to use them." So I was able to get this saucepan as well. So I was able to get the saucepan, and it was it was Cuisinart. I think that was the brand was Cuisinart. So yeah, I was able to get two things instead of one, just because a shopper happened to notice me looking over the merchandise. Okay. Now, 2006, Meghan, 2007, 2008. By the way, one of the squaddies put this together. I didn't, but I love it. 2009, 2010, 2011, 12, 13, 14. You could see a subtle change, I think, right? And then fast forward to, hey, Hazel Jones, to 15, and then 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. That's definitely, you can see the baby weight in her face. And my goodness, not a lot of change, right? Has not aged at all. I mean, at all, really. I mean, you don't see it. You just don't see it. How is that? How is that? And then another squad, he put this together. Thank goodness for the Sussex squad. It makes my work so much easier. You can see some of the magazine covers. Elle, Vanity Fair, Tatler. Very nice. Who would have thought? Who would have thought when she was growing up that she would be gracing the cover of magazines? And actually, probably anybody who knew her probably figured she was going to go on to something big. People always seem to just know. And then, of course, the jacket. That is the one that she wore while they were on this royal tour. Actually, it was just a tour. I'm tired of that royal tour stuff. It was just a tour. They went on tour. Harry and Meghan went on a tour. They made a visit. How about that? That's even better. A visit. Well, you have to call it a tour. It was just a visit. Whatever it was, again, the Sussexes performed extraordinarily well, and it's a constant reminder to the left behind royals that they let their pride create problems for the institution. As they say, pride cometh before the fall, and they are in a downward spiral. Love that article. Talked about that one yesterday, where Ian Wilson pretty much laid it out that these people are their own worst enemy. Of course, they need to be more forthcoming. If they do not slash the amount that the institution is costing the public, I do believe that is going to come back to haunt them, and very soon. They have an excellent opportunity. Instead of downsizing the family, they need to downsize their real estate portfolio. They need to make more available the profits from the duchies. They ought to get a flat salary and be done with it, because they are still functioning in a monarchy that was created for an empire. There is no British Empire, and there's not enough going on with the Commonwealth to support their lifestyle. It doesn't make sense. And the sooner they take action, the less it's going to hurt when someone else does it for them. I just don't know how it's sustainable. And I probably have told this story one time too many, but I'll tell it to you again. When I was at Troop in the Color and I watched the parade go by and I watched the Queen in her carriage and everything, as you know, you talk to people surrounding one another in that little area we were in. And I just casually mentioned to one of the people, I said, well, you know, when the Queen goes, this all will go with it. And he was like, you think so? And gosh, I regret saying that immediately, because I'm like, oh, okay, maybe that was too strong. But I just could not figure out, how do you sustain something like this? What is the point? What is the purpose? This whole thing about soft power doesn't make any sense to me. Other nations get better results and get along just fine without an institution as big as the British monarchy. $500 million a year. There's just not enough people that have that in mind. They are too distracted by other things with their monarchy. And this idea of the tourism, we have debunked that again and again. So that doesn't make any sense. I still say it's unsustainable. It doesn't make any sense. And especially when you take into account that Andrew is still a prince of the realm. Andrew is still the Duke of York. Andrew is still eighth in line for the throne. Now, the only way that's not so is present a document where he has signed away his birthright. Until I see that, Andrew is still the prince that he was born to be. He is still the Duke of York, a title that was conferred upon him upon marriage, and he is still eighth in line to the throne. Until you show me something where he has signed that away, I don't know how it could be anything else unless Parliament acts. And if they act upon him, what else is going to get acted upon? They're going to have a conversation about the entire family. They are kicking the can down the road and hoping that this all blows over before they have to have a debate about it. That's what they're doing. They are just trying to delay. So they have had everyone within their realm, everyone within their control, use the term Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor instead of calling him Prince Andrew, which is fine, but he is still Prince Andrew. Nothing has changed. These incremental bust downs that they are doing nothing is happening. He still has his royal protection. And I agree. He should not be out there smiling and waving on horses. He shouldn't want that for himself. I mean, really, this man must not be altogether there. He cannot be well if he thinks that all of this is just innocent fun and that he's done nothing wrong. If he cannot identify the fact that he has been a buffoon, nobody can help him. No one, not his daughters, certainly not Fergie, because she's the flip side of the same coin. Hey, Legs, thanks for joining us. Let's see. Parliament has to do it, right? All 14 parliaments. Oh, yes, across all of the Commonwealth. Thank you for that. Yes, not just in Westminster, but across all the realms. And trust me, that is a conversation they do not want to have. They do not want to start that. That's why I'm telling you guys, do not worry about the Sussexes and their title, because the only way to do that is going to make so much trouble for the entire institution. I believe that their best bet is to downsize their lifestyle. Don't downsize the family. That is not the problem. That is not hurting anyone. They need to downsize the lifestyle of the family. It doesn't make any sense. It's not an empire. Those days are gone. The Navy is shrunk down to what? Just a couple of frigates and a destroyer and a aircraft carrier that works half the time. So much of the pomp and circumstance is unnecessary. Did you see the crowds at Troop in the Color last year? So diminished. Even Kate with the cancer card could not bring out the crowd. And I guarantee you, whenever those kids are old enough to really make a difference when it comes to doing their official duties, they're not the Kardashians. They're not Love Island. They're not going to matter. People do not have much interest now. They're not going to be rock stars. They're not going to impress people. There's just too many other things going on. If we were still in the television age, I would say, yeah, they got some hope, but we're not. Everything we witness is on demand. We can watch the news when we want. We can watch a movie whenever we want. We can do anything on demand. Television is dying. I hate to say that, because as much as I love television, but it is. Television is on a road to nowhere. the numbers are declining. What used to be big numbers, today you look at those numbers and you're just like, that's it? You don't have 25% of the households watching the same thing on a weekly basis. You don't even have half as it would have been in the past. And certainly not 75% of all households watching something at any given time, not on television. They're looking at their phones, their tablets, their PCs. That family had better clean up their act, downsize the cost. They can keep as many titles floating around as they choose, but it's the cost of that institution that is going to bite them in the behind. I promise you that is going to be their downfall. Now, they will still, there's always going to be the British royal family. That's not going anywhere. But I just don't know how you justify $500 million a year. I don't think it makes any sense. They live extravagant lives so that you can what? Be homeless, waiting 20 years for council housing? So that you can wait in long lines at the NHS? That is what we're supporting? Or should I say they're supporting? It just doesn't make any sense. And then, you know what else is interesting? The whinging, a word that I would have never used if it wasn't for Harry and Meghan marrying and me starting this channel. I would have never have heard the word whinge. That was a new one for me. Whinging. We always say whining, moaning, complaining, but not whinge. But they're whinging. Will and Kate, constant complaints, constantly wanting people to feel sympathy and to feel sorry. And it has run its course. It has run its course. Liz Jones, Amanda Playtell, and now Ann Wilson. I cannot tell you how surprised I am that I find myself agreeing with those people more and more. Only about that, of course. But that is not working. This whole idea that people are going to feel sorry for Kate, sorry for Willie. No, they don't. They do not. On average, people got too many problems of their own. Too many people are going through cancer treatment that have to raise a family, that have to go to work. If they miss a day, they're on the verge of homelessness. That we should all take a measure of what's happening with Will and Kate, who is in their probably 6th or 7th forever home. And if that wasn't enough, that wasn't working anymore. So what happens? William starts talking about his mental health. They better listen to Liz Jones and Amanda Playtell. They are trying to help them. They're trying to help, but I don't think they're listening. Now, you know who else doesn't listen? Do you know who else doesn't listen? That one right there. She had a big back and forth with this guy. Do you think I'm English? Do you think I'm English? It's interesting to me because she has this whole right-wing agenda that she feeds into. Is her stock in trade, is what she does for a living, is perpetuate all of this right-wing white nationalist talking points. Listen to what happened to her. Let me play this soundbite for you. This guy could not say what he wanted to say, but I think we all know what he was thinking, but he just couldn't say it. So I'll play that for you, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
Look, let's put that to one side for the minute, because we're going to go down a rabbit hole if we start talking about this sort of thing, and we don't have time to give it the detailed.
Okay, let me start it over.
You think I'm English?
Look, let's put that to one side for the minute, because we're going to go down a rabbit hole if we start talking about this sort of thing, and we don't have time to give it the detail that it deserves. Okay? So if you could just stay on this point.
Can I just stop you there? I know exactly how much time we've got.
Yeah?
There's no breaks in this out. We've got time.
Right, okay, well, listen, if you want to go down this route, then I'm happy to do so, because it is
just a question.
But it is an important issue about what it means to be British.
What does it mean to be British then? Okay.
Well, but, I mean, we have made it very clear, Restore Britain have made it very clear that our position is that Britishness is not just defined by having a British passport. It is not just defined by believing in a set of abstract corporate-style values like democracy and the rule of law.
What is it defined?
Well, let me finish. So the position
defined by not what it is.
The position of every mainstream party, from Reform UK right the way through to the Greens, is that Britishness is defined by having a passport or believing in democracy. Right? In our view, that is an absolutely ridiculous definition, because Britain and the constituent nations that make this country up, England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland, are ancient peoples. These are ancient nations that have existed continuously for over 1,000 years. Yeah. And so there is a difference.
So am I British?
There is a difference between somebody.
Am I British?
No, I'm
born in Newcastle. I'm a Geordie. Am I British?
Well, look, you're born in Britain, you know, and all the rest of it. So in that sense, yes, you are British.
So
but
which bit of me isn't then?
Well, there is obviously a spectrum, because there is a difference between somebody who has come here in the last 5 years and got themselves a passport, and somebody like me, whose family has been in this country literally for thousands of years. Okay, there is a difference. And this is an important
Have you heard of Cheddar Man?
Yes.
Cheddar Man, turns out that he may well have been black and was here.
Well, I think that's...
No. So it hasn't been fully. And apparently he was the first person in this country, and he was potentially black. In fact, if it is true that mankind came from Africa, then you come from Africa.
Well, I mean, I'm a Christian, so I think we all share a common ancestor.
Well, you might believe that, but science says otherwise, that mankind came from Africa. If you're going, how far back are you going? I'm going back to the beginning.
For what?
Well, mankind.
For mankind?
Well, if they're saying the creation of mankind and mankind came from Africa, then you're from Africa. Your heritage all the way further back.
Well, if the out of Africa theory is correct, then yes, but that doesn't that doesn't make me African now.
Well, it means that there's a piece of you that is, which means you're not British.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying
it's just. Do you think I'm in?
Okay, now I know it sounds like I had the speed turned up. I even checked it just now, but I did not. That is the rapid speech that they were using. I mean, just it didn't even seem real. I'm curious why she decided to take a stand on this particular issue, where she's even talking about Cheddar Man. Now, if you don't know what Cheddar Man is, that is I guess, prehistoric, would you say? One of the first recognized, would you say, Homo sapien? The first man to have wandered the English Isles, the British Isles, Cheddar Man. They believe that the first inhabitant was someone with a dark complexion, someone who is consistent with Africa. And so, and by the way, looking at this guy, I would be very interested in seeing what his DNA test presents, because he I'm looking at his hair, right? I'm looking at his hair, and I don't know. I'm getting, you know, I'm getting that I'm getting some brown in him somewhere. Yeah, I'm getting some black or brown in him somewhere. I don't know where it comes from, but he does not seem like the type of person that I would expect to see, you know, let's say 50 years ago visiting the UK. I wouldn't expect to see someone like him. So whatever he says about his ancestry, I I think he should get it checked out because there's something else going on there. But listen, it does not matter. The DNA test only says that you've had a common ancestor going back so many hundreds or thousands of years to a particular region. It doesn't necessarily mean that you are 100% of this or that. You're 100% based on the samples that they have from that particular region. Does that make any sense? That's what you're 100% of. And over time, as they get more samples, the amounts of this or that ancestry, it changes a little bit, not a lot. But the first time I've had a DNA test, it's pretty consistent with the most recent one, although they were able to break it down into more and more subgroups than they were before, right? And the place where they don't have as many samples is probably sub-Saharan Africa, a lot of places in Asia, probably a great deal of places in Russia where they just don't have as many samples because there's not as many people doing DNA tests. You got to have a large sample to really get the best results. And so, of course, more affluent countries, wealthier countries, you got more samples to choose from, more samples to, figure out. But yeah, anyway, there's something else going on with him. He has a little bit of that Tom Jones syndrome going on. And I do believe that with the Romans being in Britain all those years ago, well, of course, they brought all types of people with them. The Roman Empire was like a melting pot of the known world as it was, but still a melting pot. So, but yeah, do you think I'm British? Well, you're something. You're something. In the US, our concept of being an American means that you're just born here, period. Right? But as we know, a true American is a Native American. They go back further than everybody else, like 20, 30, 40,000 years, whatever it is. They go back much further. All the rest of us are newcomers. We're newcomers. And of course, the theory is that the Native Americans came from Asia. They crossed the Bering Straits. They came over to North America and worked their way all the way down to Tierra del Fuego. Sounds good to me. And over time, genetically, they began to appear different from the ones that first came or whatever. But whatever. It is what it is. So essentially, we're all from Africa. And we have, gone our I hate to use the term mutated, but we evolved different ways. If you believe that, we have all evolved different ways. And that's that. Let's see. Nana is so deluded. She might be British, but she is not a Briton. Well, see, this is the thing. For a British person, that may be something that means something completely different from an American. I believe you're wherever you're born. That's how I was raised. If you were born in the United States, then you're an American. If you were born in Canada, you're a Canadian, regardless of where your ancestors came from. That's what you are. Because think about this. so many of the people in Britain are actually Vikings, right? They're Vikings, or they're the Normans. Didn't the Normans have a conquest? I mean, you know, who is the original Brit? Who is the original British? I don't think we really know. I don't necessarily believe the Cheddar Man was, but it really almost starts to get into Genesis and religion and the Garden of Eden and all that kind of stuff. Where did we come from? You know, and I just think it's easier to say if you're born in that place, then that's who you are. Especially if you have been raised there, if you have been intellectualized, if that's your culture, then that's what you are. Because it's too complicated to say that you can't be this or that based upon your DNA or what you look like, if that's where you're born, because the world is a big melting pot, and we're never going to go back to those days where you're only this or only that. We're in the jet age, and people are wherever they come from, as far as I'm concerned. But that's just my opinion. You're wherever you come from. And as much as I don't care for Nana, if Nana says she's British, then she's British. That's where she was born. That is where she was raised. That is certainly where she pays taxes. If she's not British, then they should not accept her tax dollars or tax money, pounds or whatever, period. And just like with the United States, there are some people in this country, you cannot tell them that their blonde hair and blue eyes is not what it takes to be an American. But I think only the Native Americans, if we have to decide who is what, I believe based upon, the ancestry, then I think only the Native Americans deserve that. But that's just not the standard anymore. The standard is where were you born and where were you raised? Born first, raised second. She's British. That is the law. And that is what she is. And I don't think that it's healthy to pretend otherwise. This guy is trying to other her. And again, I don't care for Nana, but I cannot accept her being othered based upon her genetic ancestry. If they're taking your tax money, then that's what you are. If you were born there and they're taking your taxes to support that ridiculous institution, then that's what you are. So, my opinion. But yeah, it's interesting that Nana is arguing with this person about what she is, considering how much she has tried to other black people, right? And I don't mean, other them in that way, but she likes to delegitimize a person's existence or opinions because they're not carrying the party line for the conservative, ultra conservative, the nationalistic conservatives. I don't know how she fits into that. I would love to think that she's play acting just for her money, but I believe that she sees herself obviously not as a white person, but just this very conservative. I don't get her. I really don't. I guess I just don't get her. I don't understand. It seems inconsistent that she could work so hard to support that right-wing agenda, and yet she's having a conversation with someone who is reminding her, you're not one of us. You will never be one of us. Lex says, English did that and pillaged all these lands and stole their wealth only to pretend their empire is a commonwealth and then deny people of color. Cheers. Hear, hear. Absolutely. Take away a person's culture, their language, and their history, and then tell them you're not one of us. They pretend that you're not one of us, which I think is very cruel. You know, that you could take so much away from someone and then tell them, pretty much try to convince them they're nothing. And people be wondering, why y'all so angry all the time? You would too. You would be angry too. So, oh, Nana is getting a slap of karma. I think that's very appropriate. I think that's appropriate. Very well put. Now, I had a comment that I read, and one of the moderators actually removed the comment from the comment section. And I saw it when I was cleaning out. You know, I go and I figure out. Anyway, if a comment is removed, it gets a second look from me, right? And so the comment said that Baron, I can't remember exactly what she said, but they were angry at me because they said that I altered Nana's photo, that I edited her photo to make her look, I guess, different. Or maybe they thought I did that to make her look unattractive. They thought I did something to alter her image, which is not true. I don't change anyone's face. I don't do that. I may lighten or darken the photo just to make it easier for everyone to see it. Because you're on a smartphone, most of you. And when you look at things, if it's very small, then it's hard to see it. So sometimes, you know, I'll do a picture side by side, one of them zoomed in so you could see it. But I don't alter anyone's appearance. There's a lot of people that do that, but I don't. Now, I may put them in a funny situation. I may, you know, change what they're wearing or something like that for fun, but change their faces? Absolutely not. So, GB News backlash as Nana Akua branded vile for attack on Harry and Meghan. This was back in March of 2023. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex were torn apart by GB News host Nana Akua. But her scathing monologue about the couple did not sit well with viewers. This is the thing. Nana is unattractive. Not deliberately unattractive. It is her character. She has a very ugly disposition. Now, I'm going to show you what I mean by that. Here she is sitting with another troll. Here she is. White people have been penalized for years by diverse hiring drives that value skin color over talent. We must repair the damage. In other words, she doesn't believe in affirmative action. Or how about this one? Thugs rampaging with zombie knives, 8 stabbings, etc., etc., etc. Again, she is using all the talking points of the right wing. This is Nana before she became the GB News princess. Nana looks absolutely beautiful. Why does she not seem so beautiful now? It's because of her character, not her appearance, her character. Don't ask me how it comes across on the camera, but this is not an unattractive person to me. I think she looks beautiful. But you know what changed? Is her rotten insides. The rot is happening from the inside out. This is Nana leading a workout class. She used to do that. And Nana used to do voiceovers and such. She's had different careers. But this is Nana hating on Harry and Meghan. This is Nana hating on Harry and Meghan. This is Nana carrying the right-wing agenda. Nana does not look attractive there. She doesn't look attractive here or here. But somehow, miraculously, when her spirit is not tainted with hate, she's actually an attractive lady. Do you see what I mean? So, did I alter her face or did she alter her appearance? I didn't do anything of the sort. Nana makes Nana seem unattractive, not me. I have not touched that woman's face. Her character is rotten. I am just as liberal as they come. Very liberal. I am very supportive of the migrants. I don't care if they're coming across the southern border, or I don't care if they're boat people. I am very supportive. If you don't want those people over here, then stop destroying their economies and making their life miserable over there. Like this thing with Iran right now. Iran was attacked. And because they were attacked, they are retaliating. And there is going to be a wave of migrants headed to Europe and headed to the U.S. southern border. That's why these things happen. Those people would rather stay home. Nobody said attack Syria. Nobody said bomb Nigeria. They've even bombed Nigeria. That's why these things happen. So, yeah, if you want to support the right wing and you want to be one of those people that say, oh, we got to keep all those people out, just remember, they don't want you there either. You are not the face of Britain as far as that man was concerned. Where's he at? Do you think he believes she's the face of Britain? No. He doesn't even want her there. She's only as good as carrying the message that supports his cause. After that, she could go too. But again, I'm not making Nana unattractive. Nana is making Nana unattractive. There's no light or positivity coming out of her. Everything is pessimism and hatred and intolerance. And it affects her appearance. Look who she's hanging around. She's a chip off the old right wing. I looked at that comment and I'm just like, I have not touched this woman's face. I can show you everything that I have that I rotate. You know, I rotate these same images all the time. I have not done anything to that woman. She's done that to herself. She's the unattractiveness that people see, not what I say or nothing I do. She needs to turn on the light. She needs to lighten up. She needs to stop all of the hatred. She's a very unpleasant person. And nobody's doing that to Nana but Nana. It is like those black MAGA people. A black man said that some people said that he shouldn't be there and that he is not really MAGA. He said he was hurt by it, but I am wondering, what did he expect? Exactly. Exactly. You know, I can think of several people that I thought were just the most attractive things that ever walked the face of the earth until I found out how rotten they were. And then after that, I just couldn't see it anymore. I just couldn't see it. I could not associate their appearance with anything positive, and therefore they did not seem so attractive to me anymore. So if you want her to be more attractive, then you need to have a conversation with her and tell her to lighten up, to calm down, and stop carrying all of these opinions about what other people should do and shouldn't do, who they are and are not, and what's right and wrong about other people. She worried too much about other people. And most of all, it still amazes me that she has all this hostility toward Harry and Meghan. She's an intelligent woman. She should know better. But she's doing that for her paycheck. Although she may actually still have that kind of hatred in her heart. I don't know. And then, of course, look at, you're known by the company you keep. All of those people are hideous. All of them. It's not what's on the outside, it's what's on the inside. Those are monsters. Monsters, all of them. One unguarded moment with the camera, or even if they pose, they still just convey evil as far as I'm concerned. Oh, look at there. There's the whole gang of them. There's a whole gang of them. I'm sorry, but I cannot see any of them in any kind of way being attractive because of their character. Because it oozes out of their pores. It just oozes out of their pores. I'm sorry, but that's just the way I look at it. So if Nana wants to improve her situation, she needs to stop being so right-wing and so nasty toward everything and everybody that she doesn't agree with. I mean, look at that comment right there. Not one of the mainstream channels had the guts to give a talented Black female her own show. GB News has enabled me to break the stranglehold the established media had on talent. No, it wasn't that they didn't have the guts. They just didn't want to hear what you had to say. They want to hear what you had to say. Because most people in this world are not so effing pessimistic. Yeah, I looked at the comment and I'm just like, huh? And all of these images I just shared with you, these are things that I've had on my computer for the longest. For the longest. None of it is new. And you cannot tell me that any of what I shared with you has been altered. None of it. That is Nana. Hideous wig and all. Which brings me to another point. Nana's hair. Nana's hair. I mean, we got to talk about it. We got to talk about it. Nana's hair explained. That explosion of synthetic hair and false lashes. I just picture Nana getting home at night and ripping that thing off her head and just waving it around, almost in celebration of the fact that she doesn't have to wear something as cheap as that while she's at home in the comfort of her own space. Let me see. Tell Nana to give back my to give back my grandma's wig and leave the bar. Thank you for that, B. Morgan. Okay. But once and for all, I want to explain this. Don't ask me why I use yarn as a background, but Nana's hair explained. We have to go back millions of years to the formation of what we call Earth. You see, there's what we call tectonic plates, right? Top 10 largest earthquakes felt in the UK. Now, stay with me because I'm getting somewhere. You have the North Sea, Dover Straits, the Dover Straits again, Channel Islands, what is that? Pennywells, Channel Island, Derby, Hereford, or Hartford, Hereford, Heifer, whatever. And those other two, Market something. That is where some of the strongest seismic activity has been felt, also known as an earthquake. So scientists discovered two fault lines under London that could trigger an earthquake, two major fault lines in London. Okay? So this is a tectonic plate. I decided to consult the United States Department of, what does that say? Of the Interior Geological Survey. I want to explain to you her hair. Tectonic plates are large masses of land, like continents or parts of continents, that collide into one another. You see there? When two plates come together, it's known as a convergent boundary. The impact of the colliding plates can cause the edges of one of or both plates to buckle up into mountain ranges, or one of the plates may bend down into a deep seafloor trench. Okay, stay with me. A divergent tectonic plate occurs at divergent boundaries, where two or more tectonic plates pull away from each other. These are often called constructive boundaries because they create new crust or magma rises from the mantle to fill gaps and so on. So what does this have to do with Nana? Well, Nana works at the GB. She works at the GB News studios, which is somewhere near the Tower of London, Tower Bridge, and all that. If you notice, this particular fault line actually travels through Greater London and even pass right across that part in her wig. So the reason why her wigs always look so strange is because you have these two tectonic plates either pushing and buckling upwards with one another or pulling apart, creating a rift, which is filled with magma. So, taking all of that into account, that is why her wigs look like they are buckling up one minute or diverging the next. They are plates that are colliding with so much force that earthquakes occur. So if there is seismic activity anywhere near the Tower of London, we know who to blame. Nana Akua. It can only occur because those massive plates that make up her wigs that just happens to be right along that just happens to be right along that fault line is likely to cause the next big earthquake in Britain. So you've heard me say it here first. You can see it on the map. There's Nana, and there's that tectonic fault line. That is where you have two portions of the Earth's crust that are meeting. But it just so happens it just so happens that it's taking place partially in that god-awful wig and partially beneath the studios of GB News. So I don't know if there's anything to be done about it. I would say be prepared to have at least enough food to sustain you for 6 months. Also, try to rotate bottled water because it could damage the water supply. Or maybe Nana might just quit and go find another job. That might save Greater London. But if not, if there is seismic activity, and let's say we lose the Tower of London, Tower Bridge, and several other monuments and historic sites, it will only be because of Nana's wigs. Got it? I hope that was helpful because people often they ask me, they say, what's going on with her hair? And the best thing I could come up with is the Geological Survey, and also the fact that there has been seismic activity in Greater London before. So Nana may be the cause of the destruction of London as we know it, or she can just buy a nicer wig. It's up to her. You're welcome, you guys. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see, Baron. Yarn cannot explain this one away. Yarn knows Nana stole the hair from Lassie. I love the way you remember Yarn. Yarn ever gonna buy new hair. Yarn ever gonna wear that wig again either. Yarn. Oh, anyway, I've had sleepless nights trying to figure out what was going on with her hair. And that is the best I could come up with, is something to do with tectonic plates and seismic activity and such. So, Connie Bomber! Hey, Connie Bomber. Poor Nana. Royal Reckoning. How William... Oh, let me take that away. How William and Kate are coping under pressure as the family face uncomfortable truths. Here we go whinging again. You guys, these articles do not just appear. I believe that Kensington Palace gives them talking points. And from those talking points comes these articles that are supposed to make you feel sorry for them or to understand why they don't work like everybody else does. Even though William receives 30 million pounds a year from the Duchy of Cornwall, but that explains away the lack of work. Also, secret message in Kate's spring wardrobe. Princess of Wales is sending very intentional message with her outfit since Andrew's arrest, says stylist. You know what her outfit says? Nice. I like that coat. Okay. It's all right. Boring and dull. That's what her outfits say. Nice, okay, boring, dull. Next. Why the king is powerless to remove Andrew's counselor of state. Well, Zandy Sussex says, for all the hoo-ha and carrying on, Charles and William can't actually remove Andrew as counselor of state. They couldn't take his titles, can't remove him from the line of succession, and any change requires an act of parliament. Next. Okay, we did that already. Did you know that they attempted to speak Welsh? They stood in front of the camera and they read from cue cards and they spoke Welsh. And she wore that same boring dress from 2021. She wore it again for 2025. Hideous dress. Now, I want you to take a look at these two images. The one on the left side has been, per conversation we just had, that one has been changed. The one on the right side is the actual Getty image, right? Now, I don't like that they changed these photos like that. I know what they did. They raised, well, you can raise the graininess of the image, and that will make the person look older. Or you could leave it alone, like the picture on the right side. You see there? You've edited the photo. The true photo can be found here. Now, that is a squatty responding to another squatty on the left side, trying to remind them you don't need to do that to those photos. You should not do those to those photos. I never use them. When I see that the photo has been altered, I just don't bother it. Because we don't need to lie. William and Kate, well, they're William and Kate. We don't need to change anything. I don't like when they do it to Meghan, and I'm not going to do that to them. This is an actual Getty photo. They did the same thing with this photo. I actually went to Getty myself, and this is a screenshot. And this one, it's not a screenshot. This is me, doing a lift and sliding the file over. Okay? Those are not altered. That is the Getty image such as it was. We should not do that. So if you are sharing photos of Will and Kate, put them in a funny situation or something like that, but don't take the low road like they do over at the on the Deranger channels, where they alter their appearance to the point where it just doesn't even make any sense. I don't do it myself. It doesn't change anything. It just makes us look not just petty, but almost evil to do something like that. I always get like this feeling in the pit in my stomach when I see them do stuff like that with Meghan's photos. So we should not do that. Now, this is an AI. Let me see. Well, you know what, Church Nelly, have you seen that picture of William with the really bad teeth and his mouth looks all funny and everything? I've never shared that photo. I don't like it. William's teeth are bad enough on their own. But some of the squatties have been sharing that photo. I do not approve. I don't like that. I don't like altering a person's face. If you want to make a point that they look too old for their actual age, again, you don't have to do anything. They're doing that just fine on their own. Now, this one is AI. There's several reasons why you know this is AI. Number one, why is it William's beard fell off? What happened to his beard? Number two, why do they have carry-out boxes on the ground? Number three, why is William kneeling on the wet pavement? And number four, why does the, I guess, Royal Protection Officer have that stupid look on his face? Also, Royal Protection Officers don't usually carry umbrellas. You can't protect a person and carry their groceries at the same time. So a picture circulating on Facebook, AI made him lose his beard, put a bandage over her boot, but yet the comments, what a wonderful husband. I'm so glad he's helping her. What a beautiful couple. I can't deal with stupid people. And then another person adds, okay, this was supposed to be when what? This was supposed to be when. So some idiot made an AI of Billy kneeling in the mud and wet road to put a bandage on Kitty's boot with Timu nearby, I guess Timu box nearby from the pic. The boot needs bandages because there's no skin. Billy is also clean shaved, yet there are people eating this crap. Yeah. So there are people on the Facebook, apparently, that are praising William for being such a good husband. That's just wrong. That's just wrong. It looks ridiculous. Also, as I said, you don't have to alter the pictures. You don't have to alter anything. Or at least you don't have to try to deceive people like that. The real life William is pretty pathetic. Take a look on the left side. Shame he didn't help her when her shoe got stuck in the grid. He stood there and watched her pull it out, heartless. Or how about this one? William couldn't see it fit to ensure his wife was covered with an umbrella in the rain without Harry pointing it out. But simps think this photo is real. Talking about, of course, the other photo. Let's see. Carolyn Baker says Willie Leaks and Kate video is an answer to Harry and Meghan's beautiful award video. Bet you you can't speak Welsh. They got dragged. Thank you so much for the super chat. And you know what? Thank you so much for reminding me, because that was definitely coming up. Thank you so much. So this is William's temperament that day. They got a few photos of him smiling, but otherwise he looked like somebody's grumpy old granddad. Kate, of course, trying to bring out some type of joy in him for the cameras, but William was having none of it. Now, very close to our hearts, Prince William and Princess Kate issued joint message in fluent Welsh. Fluent Welsh. William spoke fluent Welsh. The Prince and Princess of Wales issued a joint message to mark St. David's Day, celebrating the patron saint of Wales on the 1st of March. William and Kate had a highly edited cut and paste video speaking Welsh. They certainly were not speaking Welsh. They were repeating and trying their best to pronounce properly what was on the cue cards. And I'm sure it took at least 8 hours for them to get through it. Maybe about an hour or two for William, and maybe 6 hours or more for Kate. And they pretend that William is fluent in Welsh. He certainly is not. His father, who took the time to study for his position, earned the right to have been known as fluent in Welsh, not Willie. I guarantee you, Willie does not speak Welsh. Willie was able to recite in an edited video. Willie has yet to address a crowd in Welsh. He'll say a phrase or two, and then he's done. Elaine Parker, 2 live chats in a row. Thanks, Baron. Well, thank you for being here, Elaine Parker. So, Zandy Sussex says, fluent Welsh. Their Welsh is so amateurish. Katie, was it Katie Daly? Oh, that's who wrote the article. Needs to cut it out. She's so butt-kissing funny. Anyway, Prince William and Kate Middleton's speech was not fluent Welsh. Welsh people don't speak Welsh like that, and their Welsh definitely doesn't sound robotic, of course. Yeah, the people that speak Welsh, they do not sound like robots. And then she continues, Willie and Kitty were just reading from a teleprompter a few Welsh words that they didn't practice. That's why there's no warmth in their words or voice, robotic. On YouTube, there are more than enough videos of Welsh people speaking Welsh. Thank you, Sussex Soldier. Now, okay. William reads the cue cards. He did okay. Kate read the cue cards. They did okay. But it should never be confused with being, fluent in Welsh, because neither of them are actually fluent. And as for Kate, she hasn't even conquered the English language, let alone trying to speak Welsh. So I'm sorry, but nobody's buying it. Nobody is buying it. They were reading from a cue card. End of, period. And also, let me see. I'm going to give you an example of those two. Where is it at? And actually, I don't really need to share this with you, but I'm just being cruel today. I'm just being cruel. Where is it? Oh, they better be glad I can't find it. That's okay. I use one of my favorites, this one.
You'll face the daily challenge of finding the balance between profitability and having a positive impact.
What?
You'll face the daily challenge of finding the balance between profitability and having a positive impact.
Between profitability? What, pray tell, is profitability? I know what a positive impact is, but between profitability? That never gets old. Between profitability. Okay. All right. I think I dragged them enough. Or have I? What else do I have? Oh, yes. And as someone just pointed out, wait, who just pointed that out? Oh yeah. Carolyn Baker said that their video was an answer to Harry and Meghan, and it certainly was. Now, looking at it side by side, who would you rather be? Would you rather be Will and Kate or Harry and Meghan? Not only was there no warmth in their video, but there was no warmth in the room. Look at Harry in his very protective stance behind his wife, there to support, always there to protect her. That is a very protective husband. His body language says so all the time. But as for those other two, well, not so much. Not so much, I'm afraid. Not much protection there. You know what? I am missing a photo. You know what I did? I shared it on Twitter, but I did not share it here. But let me find that photo. Well, I don't have it handy, and I shared it earlier and just plumb forgot to share it here. But yeah, it's that photo of William and Kate when they went to, I think it was Norway, and William jumps off the plane without any concern or regard for Kate. He jumps off the plane and he heads to greet what is that prince, the crown prince of Norway. He runs over there to greet him and shake his hand, and left Kate, pregnant Kate, to make it down the steps the best way she can. Right? No concern for his wife. The only thing he thought about in that moment was himself. That's William. That's the difference. So the play acting that they do, the idea that they want to mirror everything that the Sussexes are doing, that's all well and good, but there's no mirror there because there's no warmth. If you want to mirror them, then you need to stand not only next to your wife, but kind of off to the side and behind her, as Harry is doing here. That's what Kate really wants. She doesn't get it, but that's what she really wants. They don't have that between them. And it's really sad that they go through all of these games of trying to make it seem like they are just so drawn to each other. But if it wasn't for the protocol, if we all just put on our memory caps and think back to the Jubilee, leaving St. Paul's Cathedral, Boris and whoever he was with was holding hands. The Sussexes holding hands. The Tyndalls holding hands. Even Charles and what's her face was holding hands. Everybody except for Will and Kate. It's not a crime. But stop pretending, because it's rude. It's rude to the Sussexes. You dress like them. You try to talk like them. You try to find causes similar to theirs. It's very stalker-like behavior. Just be yourselves and stop trying to, ride on their coattails. If you admire them so much, then try to be nicer to them. Otherwise, leave them alone. What's that? Maybe he was eating pulled pork sandwich while trying to cite Welsh. You know the motto, everyone have had a, what is that? Can have a pulled pork sandwich every now and then. Thank you so much for the super chat. The good old pulled pork sandwich. Some people would fly 1,000 miles for a decent pulled pork sandwich. Right, William? Right. Okay. Let me see here. Yeah, 172 days. Let me see. Kate and her mother wanted the benefits of her being queen. Wives of the monarchs have never been treated well. Kate's parents were allowed to go bankrupt. Neither Will or Charles bailed them out. Neither Will or Charles bailed them out. As I have said, Kitty got Willie Boy drunk, had some fun, and that is how Louis came to be. Let's see. Well, I tell you, I could see that there is a, literally and figuratively speaking, a space between them, and everybody knows it. And it must be miserable for them. I don't feel sorry for them because I think they're terrible people, but it's the kids that I feel sorry for. Those kids must be very confused, very, very confused. And chances are, the worst of it was during the 172-day absence. I always have a soft spot for those kids. I really feel for those kids because even though we've had the experience of Diana and Charles and all of that mishap, it looks like William walked right into the same trap and nothing is different. It could have gone better for him, except he has such an explosive temper. And he's just not a very likable person. So any potential other women out there that may have had some, status, they just were not interested in him. And so he settled. I don't think he was so in love as much as he settled. I think in the beginning, though, that they kind of got close and then they drifted apart again. I don't know how I would feel knowing that 10 years of on and off, will they or won't they, that's not a good look for Kate. That's not a good look. She ought to have been embarrassed by that. It's embarrassing. And no matter how many times they try to tell the story about William wanting to be sure, nobody waits 10 years to be sure whilst dating all these other people, whilst going to all these other parties. That's not just wanting to be sure. They were not exclusive to each other the whole time. You know, that doesn't look right. And that it publicly they were off and on with each other, that right there put a shadow over their relationship. And I'm sure there's sometimes that both of them have regrets. They may have gotten close at some point. I really do believe that. But that was short-lived. That was short-lived. Embarrassing for her. She really ought to be embarrassed. Let's see. What do we have here? Oh, Zandy Sussex says Woolworth still sell those crap women gossip bags. The latest Women's Day says the royal family is falling apart and desperate William is making frantic secret calls to Harry to save them. Naturally, I move the mags to the front for maximum visibility, which is what you see right here. Don't you love it? The squad is so petty. I love it. I absolutely love it. And then, of course, there's the New Statesman, the crumbling House of Windsor. I'm just really amazed at all of these articles that are just, well, they're telling the truth. I mean, first and foremost, you got to know that they're telling the truth. Finally, they're telling the truth. Poor Anne, 75, will play pivotal role in keeping Windsor's afloat. Really? Oh, I got to play that soundbite for you. Joan Garcia says, Baron, please have a comedy disclaimer right before I'm trying to drink Meghan's ginger lemon tea without choking on it from laughter. I will do that. I will make sure, although sometimes I don't know that I'm going to cut up until I do, but I will make sure, thank you for the super chat, that we do a disclaimer when I feel that something zany is going to happen. Oh, but thank you. That is a compliment. I really do appreciate it. So I'm going to do this sound bite, and then that'll be it for today. So I just got this last thing. I may come back later. Not sure yet, but I may come back later. But yeah, I'm going to do this sound bite, and then we'll be done. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, moderators, for keeping this a safe space. And do pray for the people that are trapped and stuck and in harm's way in the Middle East. I am trying to do my best not to get pulled down mentally by all of this, but it does bother me that this is going on. And so I thank you guys for being a part of Royal Sussex, because I tell you, there are days when I really need this space. Okay, now let's do this.
By a horse. You know the monarchy is in trouble when it's the cover story of the New Statesman. You know that it's in trouble when they are going to rely on a 75-year-old who was recently kicked in the head by a horse to play a pivotal role in keeping the Windsors afloat. You know it's in a bad place when royal photographers are coming out to talk about how horrible and arrogant and what a cunt that Prince William is. You know it's not looking good when the body language experts come out and start talking about how these two had major tension at the BAFTA Awards. You know it's not good when Prince William is trying to connect with a younger generation, but they think that he is tone deaf, cold, unkind, and self-centered, which are all the things that I have called him recently as well. And you know it's very, very bad when the Times is calling to abolish the concept of the royal family and just have the monarch and the heir. Now, all of this was self-inflicted by these four for running out Meghan and Harry and for protecting Andrew when they knew that they shouldn't be. So I don't really feel bad for them. Do you? You know the monarchy is in
Okay, now let me give much needed credit to Katie Fried. Katie with a K, KATIEFLYFRIED. Katie Fried on TikTok. Very well said. Let's give her some flowers for that. But yeah, so that's how they plan to navigate through this. They're depending on a 75-year-old woman who was recently kicked in the head by a horse. See what I did there? Recently kicked in the head by a horse. 75-year-old woman that was recently kicked in the head by a horse. A big, snarling, whinnying horse. A horse is a horse, of course. A horse. Okay. Anyway, thanks you all. Love you guys. And thank you, moderators.